Hey planner friends! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be planning from the 25th of September to the 2nd of October in my medium passion planner, which I obviously don't have with me because I'm in the middle of a forest. Let's get started. So the kit that I'm using this week is 6-year anniversary freebies from Plannerface, so I have a couple of extra sheets, and I'm also adding in the autumnal doodles from the Plannerface advent calendar from last year and an autumnal washi also from Plannerface. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use my code in the description to save yourselves a little bit of money and also mention me for a freebie. When I saw the art in this kit, I knew it would be perfect for our trip to the Forest of Dean. There are so many elements in the decorative boxes that really remind me of our trips to the forest from previous years. As usual, I'm starting with my pen base, so I've shaded in the parts of the timeline so I'm going to be asleep, and then I've gone in with my Grey Stabilo fine liner to mark in my alarm times and split my personal and work to do sections in half to give myself extra checklist space. I've then marked in my work hours for the week using the fine liner side of my vintage sepia passion marker, which is my theme colour for September. Although the last 2 days of this week are in October, I'm going to be using my September theme colour throughout this spread because I didn't actually end up using much of my theme colour on the weekend anyway. Next, I've just added in all of my meals for the week using my Pilot Friction pen, so breakfast, lunch and dinner for most of the days when I'm at work, and then the weekend is going to be a bit different because we're going out for dinners and stuff, so I haven't put in all of my meals for those days. I've then shaded over the checklist in the bottom left hand corner to add that pop of my theme colour, and then adding in the days of the week in my to-do sections with the fine liner side of that passion marker. I'm then going to highlight over all of my meals that I've added in, and for this week I'm not colouring in the daily focus boxes of days when I'm not going to be at work. That's what I bought the washi out for. So that's it for my pen base. Now we can start getting stuck into some stickers, and as always I'm starting with my meal plan tracker, which is just something that I make in Excel and print off on sticker paper myself. I've then added in the squared off half box from the kit with some deco into the weekly focus box, and finishing off my sidebar with a habit tracker and a decorative box from the kit. Although I trimmed that decorative box on the sticker paper before I stuck it down, I did decide to cut a teeny tiny piece off the top so that I had white space between it and my meal plan tracker. And now we can move on to my washi headers. So as always, I've cut one of the 15mm strips from the kit in half to cover my personal and work to-do list headers and my Space for Infinite Possibility header. And then I've cut a 6mm chunk from the second piece of washi to create my extra gratitude header in the bottom left hand corner. As I mentioned, I haven't coloured in the daily focus boxes of the days when I'm not going to be at work because I'm actually going to cover them up with washi because those are the days that we are going to be in the forest, so I'm just using this gorgeous doodle washi from Plannerface to mark out the days when we are away. And then I'm adding the weekend banner on top of that, and I ummed and ahed about where I wanted to put it because I didn't want to cover up too much of the washi, so I ended up putting it a little bit lower than normal. So now we can get into my plans for the week. Zooming in and starting on Monday, I'm first using a piece of one of the checklist boxes that I've cut up to use as extra little boxes to mark in something that I was rotated on for work this day. I decided I wanted to do yoga on Monday this week, so I added in my Pinky Stickers printable to mark that in, and then moving on to Tuesday I've added a glitter header into the daily focus box to mark in that I was working from home, and then I've added another Pinky Stickers printable and a leg day script from Plannerface to mark in my first weight session of the week. I'm then using one of the fancy labels from the kit and a bit of deco with a voiceover script from Plannerface to mark in recording the voiceover for my October monthly video. Tuesday was also my friend's birthday, so I've cut up another one of the heart checklist boxes from the kit, and I'm adding that with the balloon doodle also from the kit to mark that in. We can then move on to Wednesday, where I was duty scientist, so I'm using a regular event label and one of the little things from the kit to mark in those 2 sessions, and then also adding a Joy of Planning scientist girl. On Wednesday I also had my usual Wednesday afternoon seminar, so I'm using a quarter box with the laptop doodle from the kit to mark that in. You'll notice as we go through this week that I actually had quite a lot of stuff to pre-plan, so when it's come to memory planning for this week, so far I haven't really had to add all that much in. Also, the little thing that I use here, I did trim it down a little bit because little things are actually a bit too chunky to fit in that space, and I trimmed it down a little bit more than I wanted to, so now I feel like it's too skinny, but once the rest of the spread is in, you can't really tell that there's a lot of space in that afternoon, for one of my spreads anyway. For Wednesday afternoon, I'm just adding in another label with the book doodle from the kit to mark in doing my September monthly reflection, and then we can flip over to the second half of the week where I'm again adding a glitter header into the daily focus box to mark in working from home. For Thursday evening, I'm adding in my second weight session of the week with a pull day script from Plannerface, and then a bin icon also from Plannerface as a reminder to take the bins out. I'm then using a quarter box with an autumnal suitcasey doodle to mark in packing for our trip at the weekend. We can then move on to Friday, and the pre-planning for Friday is pretty much the entire day. So I'm first adding in a weight session with a push day script and Plannerface and a Pinky Stickers printable. I'm then adding in a little thing with some deco from the kit and an edit script and Plannerface to mark in doing some editing, and then adding in my planning time as I would usually do on Saturday morning. Except I'm actually not doing that editing, I'm recording this voiceover instead. For Friday afternoon, I'm first marking and doing some groceries for our trip using an event label and the grocery doodle from the kit, and then I'm using a long flag from the kit with a car doodle to mark in driving to the forest. I'm really hoping that Reggie doesn't get sick this time because there's going to be a lot more country lanes in this trip than there was on our trip to Devon earlier in the year. Next, I'm adding in a skinny event label from the kit to mark in checking into our little accommodation for the weekend, and then I'm using a piece of the Monday to Sunday box that I've cut up with a YouTube button icon from Ickle & Co and an upload script and Plannerface to mark in my October monthly video going live. I don't know why I put that in first because I then had to fiddle with the spacing a bit to be able to fit a quarter box in between that and our check-in, which will be for taking Reggie on a walk around the park to kind of get him used to the space that we're staying in for the weekend. And I'm marking that in using this super cute Jack Russell sticker from Joy of Planning. For Friday evening, we're just going to have some pizza and some drinks in our little cabin, so I'm marking that in with one of the squished half boxes from the kit with a pizza slice doodle and a wine glasses doodle, both from Plannerface. Moving on to the actual weekend, there's a lot less pre-planning to fit in than there is on Friday, so I'm using a half box with some deco from the kit to mark walking up to a lake that we really like near the cabin we're staying in. In previous years we've done a big cycle trail round to it, but if we go backwards around the cycle trail it's walkable. Since doing the setup for this spread, I've also found a really cool warehouse gym that I want to try that's about a 15-minute drive away from our accommodation, so I think I'm going to go there in the morning on Saturday as well. On Saturday evening we're planning to go out for dinner at this pub near the cabin that we're staying at that we really like, so I'm marking that in with a Once More with Love couple and some deco from the kit. For Sunday morning I'm using an event label and some deco from the kit with a swimming script from Plannerface to mark in maybe going for a swim. There's a pool in the place that we're staying and I might need it after 3 days straight of weight training. And then using a half box to mark that we're probably going to head up to the Wye Valley this afternoon, and also using some deco from the kit to mark that in. And then another event label with an autumnal doodle from Plannerface to mark in another pub. So that's the main lot of stickers for the week all put down, and there is quite a lot of pre-planning in this spread. Like I said, it's already fairly full, but I'm just going back in and filling some of that space, especially when I'm at work, with decorative boxes. So I'm using this gorgeous scene from the kit on Monday and Tuesday. I've trimmed both of these down on the sticker paper so that they are exactly the same size, and then I'm just trimming them horizontally so that they fit nicely within the timelines. Because this weekend is going to be a fairly chill getaway to the forest, I'm also adding some decorative boxes into the weekend, which I wouldn't normally do because usually the weekends are full of things that I have to get done. Which also works out great with this kit because there are a couple extra boxes on all of the different sheets that came with the tiered freebies. But the decorative box that really cemented me using this kit this week is the one that I'm going to put on Sunday. So it's got a little painted rock in it, and you can find these in places all around the Forest of Dean, and they're nicknamed FOD rocks, like Forest of Dean rocks. And basically you find it, you take a picture, you post it on social media, and then you hide it somewhere else for someone to find. So last year we found one that was painted to look like a little frog. The year before we found one that had a dragon on it. So yeah, I seem to find them every single time we go to the forest. And there's the decorative box I was talking about with the little like Seek Adventure pebble on it. Because this kit was in a new format from Plannerface, it didn't have any of the heart checklists that I usually use, so I'm going with my new strategy of just putting little dots with my theme colour for the month. So I've just added those in on all of the days that I'm at work, and then I'm going to fill in some of the extra space with half glitter headers. I didn't have the box add-on sheet for this kit because I don't think it was available, so I've literally just cut a header in half to make these. And that is it for all of my stickers for the week. Now I can go back in and fill in all of my pens as usual using my Pilot Friction pen, and I will pass you over to future Natalie, who is going to finish off this voiceover after I come back from the forest. Well, this weekend has just been absolutely lovely. We really lucked out with the weather. Apart from like Friday, it barely rained all weekend, so we did get to have some nice sunshiny walks through the forest. I did make a few changes here and there to what we were doing. So on Saturday morning I was just absolutely exhausted, so I didn't bother trying to go to that gym that I mentioned earlier in the video. I actually did that on Sunday morning instead of going swimming. So on Saturday we just went on a super long walk, and Reggie was so exhausted by the end of it because I don't think he's done that long of a walk with us before. He just fell asleep under the table at the pub and had a little nap, whereas usually when he's at the pub he's like people watching. But Reggie was such a good boy this weekend. Obviously, again, it's a change of environment, and this is only the second time that we've taken him away for a weekend, and he just seemed to really love the forest. I think he appreciated it much more than the beach because he kind of knew what was going on. The main issue that we had with him over this weekend was that the accommodation that we had asked us to not let him on the sofas, and he's allowed on the sofa at home, so he was kind of like, why aren't I allowed on the sofa? This isn't fair. We also went to a couple of really lovely pubs over the course of the weekend and had some amazing food, as well as just relaxing and taking it easy, which is pretty much all I wanted from this weekend. So I'm recording the second part of this voiceover on the Monday when we've just got back, and I've just noticed that I put Y Valley Adventures on the Sunday. We ended up not going to the Y Valley because we would have had to get Reggie in the car, and he had already not been very well in the car on the way up to the forest, so we figured that we would stick near like the site that we were staying at. But yeah, overall just the most lovely weekend. I'm really not excited about going back to work tomorrow because I wish I was just wandering around the forest for an extra day. I'm sure it will come as no surprise that for my focus for this week I've just written that we were going to the Forest of Dean because I spent all week prepping for this weekend and then all weekend enjoying it. But that is all of my pre-planning. Let's take a look at the finished spread. So here's the spread all filled out, and I'm so happy with how this has turned out. This kit was just perfect for a weekend in the forest, and there's just so many lovely memories stuffed into these pages. Unfortunately, all the clips I have of Reggie in the forest, you can really clearly read his name tag, so I've just got a teeny tiny clip of him in here, but I have been putting loads of pictures in my Insta story over the weekend. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!